All right. So thank you. I thank you, Allison, for, creating this time. I know you've been busy moving and shaking and creating things, and what do you say? Putting your money where your mouth is,
I
right?
love that. I love that.
Walking the talk,
Walking the talk.
right?
Yes,
So
yes.
you've already started offering group meditations, and this is what, online?
Yes, online. Next step, in person. Who knows? Yes. You
So
never
tell me
know.
about what you did online. This was what, like maybe 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I had a beautiful heart-centered spiritual church. Most of them up in the UK, and they're all up from Scotland, in the Scotland area. Most of them. So it was lovely to be invited into their group, and they were so welcoming and gorgeous and beautiful souls, and really all very excited and looking forward to the group regression. And then we had I did a presentation to start off with, to explain what they can expect from the experience. And then we did a group regression. And then afterwards, everybody shared their experiences, which was absolutely lovely and wonderful to see. So many, having experiences. So yeah, it was absolutely awesome. Yeah.
Lovely. What a
Yeah.
wonderful like first experience. So you can say it went without a hitch. It was smooth. It went the way you planned it.
Yes, yes. I am very thankful for that. It did. It did. It really did. Yes.
Okay. So this group, I mean, so every member was on their own device. This was remote.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So completely remote. So I'm here in the
Okay.
UK, and they're all, up in Scotland, and everybody can relax and sit back, either have a lie down on a bed, or they
Okay.
can sit in their comfy sofa. Make sure their surroundings are quiet, of course,
Yeah.
and they don't have any interruptions. And then yeah, they just sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's important that I am able to see them. So I ask that everyone leaves their cameras on so that I can see their, especially the top half, so that I
Mhm.
can just monitor, if everybody needs to be comfy and happy, and I can monitor breathing as well,
Mm.
to make sure everybody is doing wonderfully. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So
Yeah.
if somebody is wanting to do this with you, with their own, well, either individually or in a group,
Mm-hmm.
um, how can they kind of set this up with you? How do they get in contact with you? How do they let you know, hey, we're interested?
Yeah, so I have a website, Allison Beale, .co.uk. And on there is a contact information, and my email is info@allisonbeale.co.uk. And what we'll do is we can put details below,
That's right.
so that everybody can reach us. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Wonderful.
yeah.
So what do you remember from some of the feedback right after the group regression? Does
Mm.
anything stick out? Were people surprised, perplexed? What are some of the stories that you kind of remember?
Um, People were, some were surprised,
Mm,
others had really emotional experiences, um, really profound
mm,
spiritual experience, and others encountered, in the past lives that they were able to see, they encountered some some not so nice experiences.
Okay.
And I found, so I've been doing these, Ruba, for quite a while, and I have worked with another group, also from the north, not Scotland, but Northern England, and have done regression for their northern group and then the London group as well. And people experienced from the feedback I got, if I remember correctly, people had like really lovely experiences. And you and I both know Alba Weinman very, very well. And my first experience that I remember from having a group regression, I don't know if you can share yours. I joined one of Alba's days where she invites people to join her for a spiritual day, and she ends the day off with a lovely group regression. And I had such a wonderful experience that day for my first time that I did this, and everybody else had a lovely experience there. But I'm finding, and I don't know if you're finding this with the regression sessions that we do, and now even in the group regressions, things are stepping up, getting a bit more serious. So people are experiencing the not so nice stuff, but the reason for that is it's showing us that we need to start doing the healing. We need to start getting to the root cause of the problems, and we need to, start doing that, what some call shadow work. Yeah. So I don't know, do you remember your first group experience?
I think that's something I need to work on, is figure out what's up with my memory. I don't remember things as much as I want to. I do remember having group sessions with Alba Weinman, but I think this inner work, in whatever form it comes, it's almost like ingredients in steps for, whatever is needed. The interesting thing is, like, when we, offer these in groups, because they're not, when we work with a person individually, we're totally focused on them and guiding them through the journey. And so we kind of maneuver around the feedback that one person is giving us. When we're doing it with a group, it's slightly different, and they're almost like kind of on their own. We're in a group together, but everybody is exploring their own, side of the forest, let's say. So it's a little bit different. And as you're explaining, it's almost like listening to people describe their ayahuasca journeys. Some are like amazing, and some are like, I'll never do this again, or it was horrific. And you wonder why. And it's where you are at that moment when you do this inner work, so it's not so much the guide or maybe even the people who you're with, which do affect, but it's where you are at the present moment when you're doing this and what you're ready for. So it shifts and changes with that.
Yes. No, I absolutely hear you. And this is why when I explain to my clients who have individual sessions or group regressions, when I explain the situation to them, I want them to manage their expectations. And I also explain it like, we're sort of entering the Akashic records, and imagine the big gorgeous library, wall-to-wall books all around, and we have an hour and a half maybe for a group regression, a couple of hours, 3-4 hours max for the one-to-one session. And when we go in there, we don't have time to look at all those books, and so our guides are coming along with us when we enter, and they take out the books and they go, look at this one, look at this one, look at this one, and this is what you need for your highest good on that specific day. So we're not all going to experience the same thing. Everybody's different in what they experience. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And every time for that same person going in, like let's say to the Akashic records, every time is different because you're not the same person coming in. Every time it's almost like you peel away a layer.
Yes.
So when you re-enter, you're re-entering from, as a different person. So you see things differently.
Wow, yes,
Right?
that's profound.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for example, us as introspective practitioners, and when we Ruba and I did a past life therapy course with Antonio Sancho, which was none of us will ever be the same after that, will we, Ruba?
I don't think we're meant to be.
No, we're not meant to be.
Yeah.
And it's just so beautiful to see everybody, even from the previous group, everybody is just flying. It's just too beautiful to see. But anyway, I digress. We had this incredible course with Antonio, and we had to practice with each other, and because we're already had so many sessions on ourselves, because we have that luxury. We're a group that can do sessions with each other, and then there's we have many clients, so we already done this so many times, but this was a whole new level of going in there and doing our shadow work and doing that therapy on the past lives and healing those parts that are stuck and trapped in those situations, in those past lives.
Yes, absolutely. And there's always work to be done. As a licensed massage therapist, I see sometimes a lot of analogies that kind of cross-reference, because clients sometimes come in like, yes, with massage therapy, with body work, but also with this esoteric, metaphysical inner work. A lot of people who especially like haven't really started the journey or are right at the beginning, they will come, for example, seeking a therapist. One of us, it's almost like, fix this issue. I have an issue, fix it. And once I walk out of this session, it should be fixed. That means it worked. And I think that's a misconception of, like, I guess, programming of how we understand things are supposed to work. That you have a headache, you take a pill, 20 minutes later, headache's gone, problem solved. But I tell clients, I try to help them understand what I understand, which is, like, for example, with body work. It's not like going to the dentist because you have a cavity and you go in, they fix the cavity. You don't go again next week to fix the same cavity. It's done. It's fixed.
Yes.
But with body work, with inner work, with that self work on multi-dimensions, it's more the analogy of going to the gym, right?
Yes.
You don't go to the gym, for 4 hours once a month, and say, like, I got my six-pack, I'm done, and then forget it, because actually maybe 20 minutes a day is more beneficial than the whole day once a month. Another good analogy is, cleaning the kitchen. Right? You can wait and clean the kitchen once a month. Very different than cleaning it once a week.
Yes.
Very different than cleaning it once a day. Exactly.
Yeah, and think about how, and I love that analogy, because think about how with the kitchen that you were saying, if you do leave that for a month, think about what that kitchen would look like at the end of that month. Can you just, you don't even want to think about it, do you?
No.
But we do, people do that with themselves. And I love the gym analogy as well that you used, Ruba, because in Antonio's words, no pain, no gain. So
Yes, you
yes,
have to get out of your comfort zone to make those
exactly, out of
changes.
the comfort zone, and it's not always nice and comfortable to do this work, but you know,
Yeah.
if like, and again in Antonio's words, if we don't go back there and help that part of us that is still stuck in that situation, who is going to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, you were still on a trajectory there, and I interrupted. I apologize.
No, there are no interruptions. You know, the road meanders. It takes us wherever we need to go. But yes, no, that kitchen analogy, definitely, because I
Yeah.
would think the person who waits for that month to start cleaning, they're not cleaning it because they're on schedule. They're cleaning it because it's so awful and
Mm.
smelly, and the stuff in the sink is now growing mold and moving around a bit or something, right? That you go in because it's too horrendous. I need to do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I see that also like in massage therapy and possibly in this like metaphysical work. You know, it's like some people might go in and do this, you know, what we would call energetic hygiene regularly, like you brush your teeth every night. But some people wait until the pain is too uncomfortable. Not when they realize the pain or whatever. It's like when the pain becomes too unbearable, then we'll do something about it.
Yes.
And some of us say, no, I notice some discomfort. I'm going to look into it right now. So it's up to the person's, willingness, but also awareness, because, for us on this journey, we've been doing it for years, layer after layer. We're growing into this knowing, but sometimes we get reminded that there are some human brothers and sisters who are kind of still stuck where I guess we might say we used to be, if not in this lifetime, then another lifetime, where you're not even aware to be aware that you're not aware.
Yes.
You just see that life is happening, to you.
Yes.
And this person is bothering you, and this situation is ruining the world, and you're fretting about this, that, and the other, and just feeling helpless because, who am I to be able to kind of change any of these things?
Yes.
And then it just builds on top of each other. It's like, so it all starts with awareness. I think that is absolutely key. You can't, if you're not aware of it, how can you change it, heal it, fix it, listen to it? If I'm not aware of you, how can I be having this conversation with you? You could be on this Zoom call waiting for me, and I'm, I don't know, making a sandwich, and I'm not aware that you're waiting for me. How do I ever have this conversation?
Yes.
So this is external awareness. There are things that if we're not aware of internally, that there's a part of you waiting in some trauma, either trauma with a capital T or trauma with a, lowercase t, waiting for you to be mindful of them, to be aware that they're waiting for you, because they're stuck in a moment in time, and you're the future self that isn't stuck anymore. Can you come back and help me? And usually, like if we're talking just about one lifespan, then it's usually your child, the helpless self, that self that couldn't get in a car and leave, or punch that person who was harming them, or they didn't have the means to get out of the situation they were in. So they kind of, that whole moment kind of gets paused and maybe even bandaged a little bit, put in a jar, kept aside until it's funny, it's almost like I see it, people are guided, it's almost like a clearing in the forest. They're 35 right now, or 42, or whatever it is. The kids, everything kind of like maybe stabilizes a little bit, and then these things start to come up. Like, what's going on? And to me, I see that's the clearing. Now that you're safe, now that you have your own income, your own power, you master your own life, and now from that place of strength, go back and save the parts of you that weren't able. Yeah.
I
So,
love
so
that.
now you have even that awareness that, oh my gosh, not what's going on with me. Why am I having this, anxiety, pain, whatever, physical issues?
Mm,
It's something is knocking on the door louder and louder, saying, hey, we've got this far,
mm,
and before we can move any further, you need to tend to these other things that are bravely still holding that moment in time. That 7-year-old you, that 2-year-old you is bravely basically holding their breath for you to come back
mm,
them, and
mm.
then you can move forward, because what's to come needs all these parts.
Yes, yes. So just think about what you were saying about that future self of yours, you know, what's meant to be for you, living that full life, needs for you to be brave and to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Here,
yeah.
here you are in your own home with your own car, your own kitchen. You can make your own cup of cocoa. You can do all that
Mm,
stuff, and you're having a great life. Don't forget that part of you that held it together, so you can survive that moment.
mm,
So you can get to the part where you can make your own cup of coffee.
yeah,
So when you get there, don't forget us. Basically, come
yes,
and bring us along. And we see this beautiful work done repeatedly in sessions when we do that, what people would call maybe soul retrieval, or healing the inner child, and
yes.
having that child come and walk in the home that we have. Here's where I keep all the naughty cookies. Here's where my lovely bed, and the tears that come when that child comes home.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
beautiful moments, very necessary.
yes, absolutely,
Yeah, yeah. And then
absolutely.
who can do that? Like we were talking that it starts with awareness, and this is inner work, and
Mm,
can do this stuff for you. You can't get
mm,
it from a bottle, you can't get it from swallowing a pill. You can't get
no.
it from somebody surgically implanting it or removing it. Yes, there are things that help facilitate,
Mm-hmm,
like guides,
mm-hmm,
or even your own guides, kind of throw a book in your lap, or a
mm,
video to bring your awareness to something. But
mm-hmm.
the actual work is only done by the person themselves, because nobody can think your thoughts for you, and nobody can have these inner awareness, the inner
Yes.
awareness that you would have. So you have to take that journey.
Mm,
And it's people like you, Allison, who create that space for people to kind of sit back, because they can hear you kind of open that space for them, and they don't have to think of the how and why and what should I look at and where do I go next. They can just relax into the experience,
yes.
because you're also being mindful of, okay, now they've reached this spot, now I know where else they need to look, so they can clean this moment in time properly, deep cleaning,
Mm,
not just see it, oh, how interesting, let's pop back out. No, like,
mm,
we've been trained, and not just by our mentors and our teachers and our colleagues, but trained
mm,
by the sessions that we continually do over the years,
mm,
of
mm.
of of really how to I want to say, like, almost like play it by ear, because
Yeah.
you can have all the training in the world, but again, it's that inner guidance, and it's
Yes.
being comfortable in the in the knowledge that you have and the guidance that
Mm,
you have, to kind of, because every client is different, and even if the same client comes again,
mm.
it's almost like not the same person. You have to meet them
Where they
where they
are.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. But I love what you said there, because just as I explained that the client, um, you know, is guided by their guides, so are we, to help them navigate their session, because they're guided, but they also get to points in the session where you know we we help them to navigate that the
Yeah.
parts,
Yeah.
so they get shown something, and
Yes.
then they're not quite sure what it is or what to do next, and we help them to seamlessly just walk through the scenes and go where it is that they need to go for their highest good. And then we can facilitate that, once it gets to that point where, like you said, if there's a traumatic experience, then we're able to facilitate that healing to take place. It's much easier to do in the past, in a one-to-one session with the regressions, and not so easy with the group regression. However, there's still a lot that the group can experience. The group regression, I have to say, is a very good, it's very good to do it if it's something you're curious about, and if you're not sure whether you want to have a session or not. The group regression is ideal for you to have that experience, and see whether this is something that you would like to do and explore further. Because in the group regression, you experience it up to a point, and then just imagine then after that, if you're hungry for more, you then will be able to have a one-to-one session when you're ready for it, and with someone you really resonate with. It's important to have that someone you feel comfortable and safe with and resonate with.
Absolutely.
And then you can explore so much further after. And I don't know about you, Ruba, but I find the more you do, even if it's something on YouTube that is a past life regression, that will take you up to a point, or it's a group regression that is even a bit more explorative, if I'm using the right word there, and then you get the one-to-one session, which is the big one. But the more you do them, and no matter which one it is you do, the more it's almost like a muscle that you are using, because ultimately, wouldn't you say we channel, don't we? Because we connect with our higher self, we connect with our guides, we connect with our soul family. And
I think we possibly channel more than we think we do. I've even more recently kind of come to play with the understanding that your mind, so I'm still playing with that. But it's almost like the mind doesn't even create its own thoughts. It's a receiver. So playing with that. So that means every thought that comes in isn't produced by the mind. It's some part, some entity, some part of the self, or, whatever we are channeling. So it's almost like it's all channeling. What would you like to tune into? So it's I think it's all channeling, and the more, and like you said, it's a muscle. The more you do it, the more it's almost like, if we use the analogy of a radio, but this radio probably has lots of knobs and buttons and things like that, and you just learn to just press the on button, and all these themes but now, because it's not a simple radio where you're just tuning that one dial to one channel. You've got several things going, because the analogy I usually use is that one radio dial. If you're listening to country music and you turn it around, and that little, bar kind of passes, and now you're listening to classical. Right. And like, let's say you get in a car, and the moment you turn the engine on, here's country music. And you never even realize that there is a radio. You just know that every time you turn your car on, country music comes on. And there comes a point like, why do I always get country music? Because that person is getting in classical, that person is getting hip hop. Why am I always getting that? And then it's like, oh, because that's what I'm tuned into. here's a dial, here's a little knob, let me try.
Mm.
And you switch it, and all of a sudden you become aware that, if this music is making me sad, I can dial it to more happy music. It's not like it's sad and it's like, I can't help it, I'm so sad, because it's because you're tuning into sadness. Of course you're going to hear sad stuff and feel sad stuff. Tune into whatever you want to tune into, and that's what you get. So now with this new piece of information, that tantalizing piece that I'm playing with, it's that actually you're channeling more than one thing. So now I'm thinking of a more complex radio, that you're not listening to one channel at the same time, but you could be, channeling several things. So again, but it boils down to awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness.
Yeah.
I like the analogy of the group regressions being like a sampling. And as you were talking, I could see, like when you walk into an ice cream shop. I know here in America, when you walk into an ice cream shop, they have these tiny little sampling spoons, and you can point to any ice cream, and they'll give you, so you don't commit, to buying a whole scoop of something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So you're brave enough to try the thing with the nuts in it, even though you kind of don't like, pecans, but everybody's saying this is great. So, you have that little taste, and you say, you know what? It goes well with my coffee. That's what I'm going to have.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Ruba, I love that you said that you're brave enough to try that new flavor. And because that's exactly what I said to the group 2 weeks ago. It just came, from the heart, just saying to them, thank you for trying this, and for being brave souls for trying this,
yes.
and for coming to do this work. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to have these samples that you offer, and because how I see it, it's the yourself, your soul already knows the path that needs to be taken for the healing, but you're not just the soul, you're the human and its parts, and you can't bring your human kicking and screaming into its own healing.
Exactly.
Right. So you need to kind of convince your human that this is not going to hurt, or if yes, we might see stuff that we've been trying to put in jars for so long. We're afraid to open those jars, but then it's almost like desensitization, like a person who does not like driving on the highway. Right. So, but once they have a job, or they have to take their kids to school, and 5 minutes, 10 minutes of that trip has to be on that highway, eventually it becomes, no big deal. I know this section, I know how to go in, how to get out, and it's desensitization. But when you give your human and the parts that are afraid that taste, that sampling, and it's like, okay, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
That wasn't so bad. And eventually it's almost like you start to crave more. It's like, I feel so good. And again, like these things don't have to be full-blown hour and a half immersions. They can be eventually. You can, train your human, train your mind. It could be the breath or 2 or 3 that you center yourself in any moment. Not only when you're feeling horrible and remember you need to breathe, but
yes,
it could be at a traffic light. It could be as you're actually enjoying life. You're cooking, the food is about ready, you're about to sit down with your family and watch Netflix and eat and all that stuff. And it's that moment of just absorbing this creation that you've created, the story of your life, and then it takes that breath or 2. So all of it is inner work, including the fretting and the worrying.
Yes.
It's all inner work. So for those of us who go to bed, going over what horrible stuff happened today, and the stuff that I need to take care of tomorrow, and the person I need to, that's also your meditation as well.
Yes.
And you choosing what you want to tune into when you wake up. I'm going to set the dial right here when I go to sleep. So when I wake up, that's the music I.
Yes.
And then blame God for my life, or blame the world
Yes.
for how I
Or,
feel.
or, or, you know, we so quick to say, "Oh, I must have done something so horrible,
Mm,
to
mm.
deserve this." But yeah, we haven't tuned in.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then we play with these things that come to us. This idea that nothing is happening to you, it's for you. It's the
Yes.
idea that everything is an opportunity. So to
Mm.
remember that, like to write it on your forehead, on your mirror, on a post-it note somewhere,
Yeah.
because when we're all nice and zen and meditating, it's all like nice and warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
We can remember this stuff. But to have yourself, for you to remind your human of it when the bomb first hits, when the sticky moment first arises,
Oh,
to
I
to
love
to
that.
yes, to I mean, your human has every right to experience life, the ups and downs. We're in a world of duality, to feel that contrast, to revel in it.
Mm.
I mean, why does food taste so good when you're hungry? If you ate the same meal and you're already full from the food that you ate 5 minutes ago, that it's not
Yeah.
as joyous as you've been on a hike, you haven't even had breakfast, and and here is this amazing dinner. It could be a peanut butter sandwich,
Mm.
but because of the contrast of being hungry and tired, and here's the relief, it makes
Yes.
it so much better, right?
I
So
love
here's this contrast in life, and then so to see the contrast also as not a punishment.
Mm.
What's happening in your body, what you're feeling. It's not a punishment. It's at worst, it's a loving call that this is the easiest way we can get your attention.
Mm.
Because my partner Nick and I, we talk
Mm.
about this a lot, and we've been together for about 7 years now. So we've had. I'm almost like in constant meditation. I step out of this bubble to go grocery shopping, and I come back into this bubble. But years ago, we were discussing, is pain necessary?
Yes.
Is pain necessary?
Mm.
And like we said a few moments ago, is that discomfort is necessary,
Mm.
or else, like even in bed, you could sleep the whole 8 hours on one side, but it's the discomfort that makes you shift off your shoulder and off your hip,
Yes.
right? And you need that. If you don't, you get bed sores, for example.
Yes.
All right. So in that sense, discomfort is good for you. You're
Yeah.
uncomfortable one way, so you go and you do something about it. Now, pain is not necessary. Suffering is definitely not necessary.
Mm.
Okay, so we've got discomfort, we've got pain, we've
Mm.
got suffering.
Mm.
Pain is not necessary, but we make it necessary. When we see with this work, like, for example, I'm sure you heard it from your clients, where they go into regression, they get these beautiful messages, and they come out of it and say, I already knew this. I already knew this. And it's like,
Mm.
oh, yes, you weren't waiting to book with Allison Beale and then get, the messages from your guides. The messages been coming to you all the time.
Mm.
They come as whispers, they come as nudges.
Yes.
And you kind of instead focus on the loudness of life around you, loudness
Yeah.
of conditioning, loudness of, your heart is telling you, get out of here, go do this, change jobs, leave this person, marry this person, whatever it is. And you don't listen to it, and you choose to listen to, but if I leave this job, my mother's going to say, what are you doing? You left a secure whatever to, right? So we kind of shut the whispers, the higher
Yes.
vibrations, the light. We shut it down with the heavier things,
Yes.
right? And so we make discomfort now go into pain, right? And then the more we insist, like, this pain is still, I much rather this pain than stepping into something I don't know.
Yes.
Right. So it
Yes.
grows and grows and grows until,
Yes.
like what they say, like, I was hearing an analogy more for people who have an addiction to alcohol, that any of them notice that you have to hit rock bottom. It's not bad enough. It's not bad enough. It's not, my wife left me. It's not bad enough. It's not, it's only when you got in an accident that killed your child because you were drunk.
Yes.
That now you want to take care of this, addiction problem.
Yeah.
But did it have to be at the death of your child? No, you could have done it when your wife was saying, you know what, this marriage is a little bit too much because you're not even helping yourself. Right? You could have stopped there and saved the marriage, right? Yeah. So was it, your wife leaving you? It's her, it's her being bad to you and not being patient with you, or is it a sign? So you can either point and blame, which say that's you giving your power away. She couldn't handle it. I'm going through something. Alcohol is, my best friend right now. She can't even hold that space for me. Her problem, she left me and now my family, and it's blaming everything else.
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't listen to this message. Now we have to step it up a bit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because your soul on the other side, this is like a movie, like a dream. It doesn't matter if your arm gets cut off or your house, catches on fire. It doesn't matter. You're going to wake up from the dream. What's important is what you get from it.
Yes.
Yes. So everything else is fair game.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I like what you were saying there, because people, like, a part of the reason why they have sessions is they want confirmation of something. So, should I leave that husband? But there's already an inner knowing, but there's also conflict there. And yes, there's suffering there in that relationship. And, the session isn't always going to give them that answer. And often when we get to that place where we ask the questions, the guides will just say, they already know. They already know the answer.
If I had,
or like you say,
they had $1 for every time the higher self or the guides come and say, she already knows.
She already knows.
We've told her.
We've already told her. Yeah. So that they have that inner knowing already, that they know what to do. But but it is in our human nature, I think. Just, for me, my story is also, hitting that rock bottom and a lot of suffering before. And it's like, why do we do that to ourselves? Because there's no need for that, is there? I love what you just said, because there is no need for that suffering.
But you don't know that there's no need for it.
We don't know that.
Because you're not aware of it. This awareness seems to be like that important key that you have to kind of like hang around your neck, so it's always with you, that awareness. When things happen, to become aware, not to get lost in the emotions or the illusion of it. But you feel that key around you and you remember, awareness, and it really kind of changes how you're human. It changes how you kind of move along as you're human. I use this word, and I've been using it for years, and I think it must have come with conversations just with me and Nick, but it's and really just that statement has changed life for me, is that you're not your human. You're not your, remember that you are not your human. You're not its thoughts. You're not its feelings. You're not its emotions. Okay. So what use is knowing this, that you're not your human? So what? So what is that you don't get lost in your human when it's feeling anxious, when it's feeling upset, when it's crying, when it's feeling like it's dying on the inside. And all of a sudden you get reminded, I'm not my human. And it gives you that space. You can almost like hover
Yeah.
above your human or next to your human, and you can see her now on the bed,
Yeah.
feeling all just melancholy.
Yeah.
Feeling
Yeah.
it. And then you start to say, well, how long has she been like this? Oh, it's been 3 days. Well, why is she feeling like so mopey? Because now you're not in the emotions. I feel so bad. I hate this. What a crappy day. You're not there because you're watching your human now.
Yes.
Right. And it's from that space that you can now guide your human, should you choose, because again, you have every right as a soul coming to have a human experience. It's like, what happened? Oh, I don't know, the coupons expired. Now she can't use them. And now she's been moping for 3 days. Like, yeah, let's get her out of it. Or what happened? Her dog died. Is it appropriate for her to still be moping around? Yes, it is. How should we make it better? Should we tone it down? Should we, go visit a friend? So you do it appropriately. You don't get lost in the story, in the dream, but it's almost like you wake up in the dream and can maneuver it better for your human.
Yes. Yes, I like that.
Yes.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yes. Now, as much as we like this, can you use it when you need it most? That's a whole another level of humaning right there.
Yes. So when I have that exact thing, that I teach my clients, Aruba, when, that situation hits, we need to calm and take breaths, in through the nose. Start by doing that, in through the nose, hold it in for 3 seconds, out through the mouth, and then start saying, I am okay. I'm safe. Right now, in this moment, I'm safe. I'm okay. And then, you start asking, the right questions instead of why me, what am I learning from this experience, and reminding yourself as well that, this, everything is happening for your highest good. So whatever is happening is for your highest good. Like you said earlier, Ruba, everything happens for us, not
you,
to us. Yeah.
Yes. There is many times I get shown this analogy. It's like, I'm sorry, but it's like a pile of poop and in it is a pearl. And all we can do is focus on how nasty this poop is and how did it come to be here and who put it there, why does it keep coming? Where stop wasting your energy and your questions and your, these detective skills on where the poop came from and why. It's like, look for the pearl already. Because when you get that, when you again, because everything has that opportunity in it, and like we need to give examples because we think it's like, where's the lesson in this? Sometimes it comes. Nick had a client a few years ago, a young man. His mother had died 2 weeks ago, and the question out of Nick's mouth is, what opportunity does this hold for you? Now, this is a question you can't utter in public because it sounds, what's wrong with this? How can you ask such a question? His mother just died. How can you say what opportunity is in there? But the right souls that, like the humans that have evolved to a certain, again, you meet your client where they are. Everything happens for a reason. It's already been planned out on a soul level. You think the mom's soul didn't, know that this is where she's going to exit? It's on a soul level. We knew we have exit points. We get to choose. I've had enough, or I'm done, or whatever. And sometimes that situation of your mother dying while you're at this age or this stage in life has something to do with your evolution as well.
Yes.
It's for you. And well, Ruba, prove it. I'll tell you that there's so many stories, Allison, of these great people that we know their names today. Because, and I want to say, again, you looked at their childhoods and they are horrendous. Like if they, yes, if they were under a bridge, you know, sloshed on drugs, you'll say, you know what, they can do it because of what happened to them. It's absolutely understandable. The abuse, the suffering, the whatever, as children, they have every right to be like totally. But here they are, they're authors, they have PhD, or they're just have shifted, you know, trajectory for so many human beings. And you go see, like Dr. Wayne Dyer, you know, his father left his mother, and, you know, him and his brother, when they were young, they ended up, the boys ended up in foster care. You know, by the time Wayne Dyer is ready to move to the other side, he has a house in Maui. You know, everybody knows his name. His books are translated in so many languages. Right? But you can also take that same story and say, because my father left us, because I was in foster care, that's why I amounted to nothing.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Ruba, I absolutely love that. And I had a prime example of that this week. Sinead O'Connor. She is the Irish singer that passed away recently. Horrific childhood abuse. But a prime example of, and I was watching a documentary about her this week, and I for some reason, you know, the media and the mainstream always make this big deal, and you know, when when celebrities die, and of course it's heart sore, and your heart goes out to the family and friends and all that. But there's now and again there's one that really hit you, and this one hit me. I was really sad when I heard that she passed away. She sang that song, that Nothing Compares to You. And this that documentary that I watched showed, you know, she was very open to talk about her childhood and what had happened, and her life, and she was very brave for her time as a woman in the 90s. It's difficult now to look back at what it was like in the 90s. You know, I watching the documentary was just so like, yeah, I forgot that was what it was like. You know, for women, you know, this is pre-Me Too movement. This is, you know, and we'd already come a long way, but even then, you know, it was still, you know, she refused to let you know, the music industry turn her into their sex idol, you know, and that's why she shaved her head. And she pioneered for good causes, you know, and she would put her foot down and not have a concert on principle. And then she went on Saturday Night Live and sang, and then she tore up a picture of the Pope. And she was so unpopular after that, and you know, everybody was just having a go at her. She didn't care. She stood her ground. And it is just, to me, an example of a soul that had a plan. And she must have been, you know how we say, you know, we plan our own life, but also as a collective, for the collective, calls go out for people to come and do specific tasks for humanity as a whole, for our collective to grow, and she's one of those. I can, you look at her life and you just know she did that, and she was a, you know, she did this great break the chains, break through, and if it
Yes.
wasn't for that childhood, like you just said earlier,
Mm, mm.
she would never have done any of those things,
Things
and it
like
made
what?
her
What do you remember of her childhood?
her mother, very hard soul, abuse from her mother,
Mm,
and never having had that nurturing from a mother,
mm,
and then being taken into care and going into care. And I think one of the things she mentioned was her mum would lock her out at night. Little girls scared, locked her out in the garden at night, just in the dark, alone, just a little girl. I mean, I'm getting shivers as I'm talking
yeah,
about that, and you
yeah,
can't even
yeah.
begin to imagine that.
Mm,
So to me, that's another example, of a soul that came with a purpose. And yeah, do you think if she didn't have that suffering initially, that made her strong to
exactly,
accomplish
exactly.
those things that she needed to do?
Yeah, I
That,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, we know from the work that we do that before we
yeah,
come here,
mm,
these like every detail is already planned out. Whether those details get played out the way exactly they're planned out, that is iffy because of free will.
yes,
Of whether you decide to cut yourself and die, because your mother locked you out, or you
yeah,
persevere and keep going.
yeah,
So there are always all these different forks in the road due
yeah,
to free will, but
mm,
that these things are definitely planned out very
mm,
carefully by the soul and the guides, and all the players that would be a part of it. Like we know,
yes,
for example, the mother who will say, "Oh, what a terrible mother she is." On a soul level,
yes,
volunteer that I'll be the one who locks you out and betrays your trust.
yes.
And
Exactly, exactly. It's
yeah,
mind blowing to think about that,
it is.
and a lot of people will see it as perhaps we're. I often feel, some people will see it as we're we're belittling someone's suffering. But
Mm,
that's the last thing we're doing. We're just explaining why we had to go through that, and that we actually, planned that for ourselves.
yeah,
And
yeah.
if you do some reframing, you will realize why you had to go through what you went through.
Yes, yes.
And yeah,
And to me, those souls are the strongest souls. The ones who come
mm,
in and hit the ground running.
oh my goodness, yes,
Those are like
Ruba.
yes, those are the like, again, some of us that we grow up with beautiful parents who, if they make mistakes, they make mistakes, like honest mistakes,
Mm,
but everything is easy, and even then life is hard.
yes.
Even when things are good, your parents didn't abuse you, just whatever, but then you're eating your ice cream as a kid and it falls onto the floor. That could be your trauma.
Yeah,
you know? So even
yeah,
if life is good, if I'm watching this The Crown on Netflix, this
yeah.
documentary, on the the royal family and things,
Mhm.
and you'd think,
Mhm.
naively, that they've got everything, they're sitting on top of the world, how dare they be miserable.
Yes.
But when you look at them as individuals, what the queen as a soul, as a person, as a human, as a character on this stage has to play that role and stay in that role.
Yeah.
Watch her children need things and not be able to provide. You wouldn't think a queen won't
Yes.
be able to provide, but it's,
Yes.
if I'm all soft and mushy with everybody, how can I be that sovereign queen? That holds the
Yes.
church and holds the monarchy, right? And
Yeah.
you've got Charles, who feels like he's a he's so important yet so insignificant, just waiting
Yes.
his mother to die,
Yes.
basically, for him to start playing his role.
Yeah.
It's like, so nobody is free from the story, the movie, the drama.
Mm,
Nobody's free from it,
none of
you
us.
know. And
Yeah.
and again, some people who might think, well, I don't have any trauma. From how I understand it, just being born is a trauma.
Oh my goodness. Yes, from the work that we've done, um, you know, we can attest to that part. The birthing part is very,
Yes.
very important part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Even the
so
even pre-birth can be
absolutely.
traumatic, you know.
Yes, you know, you come and we think life starts when you take that first breath, but
Mm,
for you
yeah.
as a soul in the like having this human life, like for example, as Ruba,
Mm,
I didn't start living Ruba's life when I was born. It was
mm,
in the womb that it
mm,
started, you know. And again, from the work, from our work with Antonio,
mm.
it's you are. It's almost like you don't have your own energetic layers. They're still forming. So you are
Mm,
in your energetic layer. You're like,
yeah.
you know how also like we work with parts, so like the liver can have a voice and say, hey, I'm sick because such and such is stored in me, such and such trauma or thought form. As a fetus, as you're part of that human body within her energies. So if she
Yes.
feels sad, if she feels reluctant, if she feels unloved, if she feels the world is unsafe, if she feels excited that you are in that vibration, just like the liver and the kidneys and the heart are,
Yes.
and you are part of that body. So it's interesting how we see these, they separate from that, but they
Mm,
get born and becomes almost like the liver becomes a person on its own, but now it carries all the memories and thoughts and feelings from the original host body that you came through, the portal that you came through. And to
yes.
be aware that, okay, which part of these are meant to be on your journey to deal with, or what need to, like, hey, those are not my energies at all. Here, mom, I love you. i'll
Yeah.
give you I give you those,
I give you those back.
challenges. Yeah, those back to you. Thank you for letting me taste them.
Mm,
But they're not mine. And this
mm,
that brings me to the point of, like, how do you know if a heaviness is yours or not? Right?
yes.
Because sometimes even like physically, the ailments come from things that don't belong to you,
Yes.
or your mood, the mood that you're in, or the
Yes.
way you're feeling. And it's like, like before you even tend to it, to ask, like, is it even mine? Like, why am I
Yes.
suddenly angry? Where did that come from? Is it even mine? Then,
Mm,
you plug into, or I don't listen to news, but, clients can bring me the news, and you find out that, well, something horrific has happened. People are livid, so maybe you're picking some of that up.
yes.
Yeah. So again, awareness. It all boils down to that
Was
awareness.
that to awareness? Absolutely.
Yeah.
My goodness. So, Ruba, tell me a little bit more about your. So, you don't only do the hypnosis and the past life stuff. You also do massage therapy, don't you?
Yes, I think the gateway into all this work was massage therapy. For a lot of
Ah,
people, it is.
okay.
Being a mother of five, building my nest, being so much into, like, just taking care of that, and then life kind of poking you in a direction to where you need to find an outlet. Um, a way to stand on your own 2 feet, and out of the blue, out of really nowhere,
Mm,
because I double majored at Smith with psychology and education, but then I had 5 kids, so that almost like as good as it, like, never happening. So it's like, long story short, I find myself, in massage therapy school. Um, and I thought that was the answer to my prayer. Once I start working with clients, and
mm,
just, I said, oh, this was the answer. And only to
mm,
realize that, no, 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 dear, this is the beginning. And
mm.
think of meditation, like whether I'm doing an hour and a half, 2 hours, that, massage therapy is a meditation. You're sitting quietly in a room, silent, usually in other people's energies, and you can feel in that silence, you know, session after session, hundreds of hours later, you know, you're not only touching people's bodies physically, but you're in their energetic field, and they can be absolutely quiet. They can be asleep. You know, like I remember one time, very early on, I was still in the intern clinic, and it's almost like the body was talking to me. It was a young woman, and the body was angry because she had gone last night, drank, stayed up late, all that stuff, you know, and I didn't know what to do with that information back then, you know, like, why am I getting all this? I don't even know this woman, you know, but I got this anger from I don't know if she stayed up last night and you know, had a party or whatever. Oh, but it's so you start to pick up these things. And then synchronicity, I got to hear about Dolores Cannon. And from there took quantum healing hypnosis. And again,
so you did the QHHT, did you?
Yes. Shortly after Alba and Antonio did, you know,
really?
I was a few steps behind them, and and did that. And it's been a journey to also learn these things, but also let go of them. You know, because we want to hold on to a plan, we want to hold on to a script, we want to hold on to whatever, which is great as training wheels until your human becomes confident. But then it's the years of work and client after client, also your teachers, and then to be trusting enough of your own guidance to lead you down that path to do what you. So when somebody comes to Allison, it's like Allison is a portal all on her own. Yes, she studied with Antonio. Yes, she whatever. But, you know, you kind of mentioned it before about as a therapist, you know, you holding space and having those intentions. I remember in one of the classes with, you know, the Dolores Cannon material, I think it was a class with her daughter. And one of the people in class kind of said, well, why is it that, you know, I can have, you know, like people can go have a session, a quantum healing hypnosis session with this person and go have it with this person, and they're totally different. You know, and the energies that work with you, I mean, I don't know, like whatever wording you want to use, but the energies that are working with you, they don't care what you're dressed like and what your name is and what makeup you have on, and or you know, they feel you vibrationally. If you're in it for the money, if you're in it for the need to be needed or praise, if you're in it to, you know, or if you're worried, but if your intentions are right and you're here really so those energies, like let's say of the clients, the guides, they can also come through you because of your purity, let's say. You know, because of the frequency that you hold for that person. So that's why it's important, you know, as a therapist, you know, I don't know, because like if somebody wants to haggle, and usually it comes with massage therapy, some people like to haggle, you know, can you do it for less, or can you whatever, right? And I'm thinking, I live every day consciously to be the best version of myself. So when I touch you, you get everything you're ready for on a multidimensional level. Do you want to haggle that? You know, go ahead. You know, I'll give it to you for free. Donate if you want to haggle. You know, if you can't see, I mean, honestly, it's what I eat, when I sleep. You know, being consciously aware of what you watch, what you listen to, who you befriend, who you let go. You know, so you can always be at that best frequency that you can hold at that time. When you're with somebody else, I'm dedicated my whole life to somebody I might not meet, for the chance of when they book and have a session, I'm ready. You know, it's a responsibility.
It is down to, you know, drinking a lot of water, so that
Everything,
they can, because we know when we
everything,
drink a lot of
reading.
water, it enables the guides to make it easier for them to connect. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. You become more conductive. You just like, I mean, it's science,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, it's everything we learn. I don't know, like my
Mm,
whole life is this. It's,
mm,
but because I feel it's important work. It's important work,
yeah.
to usher um, this planet to be part of its if movement into what they call, 5D. You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
we
I
feel that. We
agree.
feel that.
I agree. It's
Our tribe, we feel it, and even beyond our tribe, I see it in people who aren't even aware of it. Their soul on a soul level comes in. There are no accidents. The people who find me, there are massage therapists. You can throw a stone in any direction, and there's a massage therapist. Where I am. So
mm,
when somebody shows up, at my clinic and on my table, it's like, when their name comes onto the schedule, my ears kind of perk up. Like, I wonder what this is about.
yes,
I wonder what this is about. And
yeah,
sometimes it doesn't have to even include any words, because touch, like you
mm,
said, cells talk to cells, and it could be that nudge that their soul needs at this time, at this crossroads.
yes,
So you being on a bus or on a plane or walk into a store and you don't even
mm,
interact with anybody, but your beingness
yes,
on this planet at this time, at that location, you know,
mm,
like a beacon of light. You've heard me
yeah,
say this, this is like
I love that.
lighthouses, and all you have to, your job, more than becoming, a practitioner of this, that, or the other, your
Mm,
your job as a human being, and this is not just for practitioners, healers, whatever you consider yourself to be, as a human being, how I see
mm,
it,
mm,
your job, if you wanted to have one or become aware of the one, is to become the best version of yourself at any given moment.
yes,
If you are going through a funeral or sadness or loss or sick, whatever, how can you be the best version of yourself in this?
yes.
Like Nick says, if you're here to suffer, then suffer beautifully.
I love that.
Just do it well. Do it well.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Very good. So coming back to you, Ruba. So you are in Texas.
Yes, yes, the
Oh,
Dallas area,
okay.
McKinney to be specific.
Okay,
Um,
fantastic.
I've
And
been
if
branching
people
out.
branching out
I've
now.
been branching out.
Ooh.
I've been, again, following my guidance. They told me maybe over a year ago, get your
Mm.
passport, renew your passport, Ruba. There's going to be some travel here. And, Ruba, who likes to stay in her like 5-minute radius of driving bubble, all of a sudden, every month I go to Florida.
Yeah.
Every month now I've added North Carolina, the Durham
Oh,
area. So, it's like Ruba is ready. And again, because life has put me, after intensely taking care of husbands and children and home and cats and plants and, whole,
mm.
now I'm here where I home can be anywhere, you know, uh, home can be anywhere, and like
Yeah.
to get comfortable wherever I am. So like the end of this month, we're in August. I'm going to be in San Diego, and visit some of our soul family there, our tribe.
Fantastic.
Victoria Mendoza is going to be there, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
so some opening the horizons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So yeah, if the passport had to be renewed, you never know.
Yes,
You
I know.
might
So, again, my
yeah,
ears perk up. Like, what are we
yeah,
doing?
you might be coming over to Europe. You never know.
Yeah, I know. I know. There's something brewing in Egypt. With
Oh,
right. There's
yes,
something
yes.
always brewing in Egypt.
Yes, well, a lot of people feel that pull.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yes. There is that. So, yeah, I'm open to it. Not that I have any plans or any even like pull towards anything. It's not like I have this intuition to it. It's just like I kept hearing it, and it was getting like more frequent. Renew your passport, until I'm okay, I'll renew my passport, and got it done. You know, just yeah, something's gonna happen, some opportunity or whatever, some need. And so, you know, the logistics of life and being human doesn't get in the way. You know, yes, you can hop on a plane and get things done. So that's kind of exciting.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
So I'll tell you this before it escapes my mind. I know we've been like almost an hour and a half now, but I would like to maybe have another session where I get to hear about your journey thus far. You know, it's I mean, this session was nice because we got to maybe present a little more in terms of what we do and how it feels and how to human and things like that.
Yeah.
But just like with the passport thing, the thing that keeps like pushing me gently, nudging me, is, you know how like maybe on YouTube you see these interviews with this channel and that, you know, these people who are like big in our circles, and it's but every human has this journey, and it's just as precious and just as important for others to hear. And I've been it's almost like I even have the logo for it of How I Human. And it would be like me interviewing you or getting your story of your human journey till now. But then maybe 2 years later, another interview because you've changed. You know, because, you know, I can't wait until you're like 90 and then ask you about your journey. Right?
Yes. But isn't that interesting as well? The 2 years. And you get to see what's happened and the changes and the growth.
Yes.
Fantastic. I love that, Ruba.
So maybe something like that, you know, like this is more to kind of educate, like if we do work with the video and whatever and put it out and it looks good to both of us, that would be a nice way to kind of help people understand who you are and what you do and what it feels like, the difference between a group regression and an individual one, and why you would choose one over the other.
Yes, and what benefits there are and what you're in for, you know, when you do it, and what you experience and that sort of thing. So they kind of get a better understanding of that. And
so then we can do something, you know, we can do something to where it's more of what I'm being told to do is like ask her about her journey, because you're figuring things out, and some people may never find you or be close enough to or be aware, but they can stumble upon your video, you know, and just by being in the vibration of your transformation could be enough. You know, so there's healing in those. And we know, like, it doesn't matter if the interview happened 2 years ago or in some other places, that it in and of itself holds that healing vibration where that energy can flow through to the person when they're ready to get that information.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that, Ruba.
So if you're up for it,
idea. Absolutely. Love that idea. Love that idea. Awesome. Good stuff. And Ruba, so if someone wanted to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
There's introspectiveodyssey.com. And we can put the link down below.
Yeah, we'll put links down below.
Yeah, absolutely. So the phone number is on the website, and you can text that even. And the email, every way you can get a hold of me is through that website, introspectiveodyssey.com.
Fantastic. Awesome. Ruba, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Allison. Yes. And you never know. I might be heading over to England. I have a daughter who moved there just not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's more around the London area, perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to see exactly where she is. But yeah,
Yeah.
she maybe a year ago went there just for 5 months, and then during those 5 months, she said, "Okay, I have to live here," and she came back to Texas, gave away everything, took her cat, and moved to England.
No.
Yes, yes.
But you
So
remember what Antonio said about his son in last week? He was saying his son came to England and he had such a wonderful time. So
yes,
the same thing as your daughter.
yes. Now I'm not a stranger to England because I spent my summers as a child there.
Oh.
We had a house in Nottingham.
Mm.
Yes,
Oh,
so
that's not far from where I am.
yes, I remember
Yeah,
it be
in
a 2 hour
Birmingham.
drive from the airport. I remember it being like a 2 hour drive, maybe from the airport, because I was born and raised in Kuwait, and in Kuwait, as soon as
Oh,
school is done, because it's so hot, it's like everybody who has the means to flee, goes elsewhere. And
yes.
we had a home. We had a home there. So every summer, a good 3 4 months, uh,
Oh,
we were in England. So it's
beautiful.
definitely part of the more pleasant memories of my childhood.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely. Awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Ah, Rupa, thank you so much for chatting with me
My
today.
pleasure. My pleasure. I think, see, even this is healing. We think of it. We come
Yeah,
together one way and we leave it. Just the energy has
yes,
shifted. So in it, it's
exactly.
healing. Absolutely.
Exactly. Oh, awesome. Thank you
I
so
love you,
much, Rupa.
Allison.
Thank you. Love
I love
you.
you. Thank you for being who you are and doing what you do.
Thank you, Rupa.
All right. So whenever we're ready, we'll get together again and
Yes,
produce something else.
absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right. Lovely, lovely.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
Allison, for sharing everything.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Take care, my
All right.
Rupa.
Bye
Mwah.
bye. Bye bye.